Hey guys, Greg with Fat Man Little Trail. Hey, it's important to have good footwear when you go hiking. If your feet hurt, it's going to lead to a bad hike, and it's important to find what works for you and what is best for your situation. Now, there's been a lot of different technology changes in the world of footwear, and it used to be everybody would throw on a big pair of boots and go out, but now we've got options between hiking boots, hiking shoes, trail runners, cross trainers, and things like that. There's definitely different options that people have done all over the trail, and I just wanted to give you my impression on a couple of the different styles and brands of hiking footwear that you can use out there. The caveat is there's about 100,000 different pairs of shoes, different styles of shoes, different brands of shoes that you can choose from. So I had to narrow it down a little bit. So what I did for a hiking boot is I had a Kodiak Selkirk, Keen, Targhee for a hiking shoe. The new Keen NXIS for a kind of a cross trainer, an outdoor-minded cross trainer, and then for a running shoe, trail runner, I went with a Saucony Xodus shoe right there. So a couple of things, just wanted to go through the pros and cons of each of these and then kind of give you a conclusion at the end of what I think about what the best shoe to wear is on the trail. So first off, you've got your hiking boot. This is kind of the traditional hiking boot. This one's from Kodiak. You can see it's pretty well worn by me here. A couple things with the hiking boot is you're going to have this higher collar that's going to give you a little bit more ankle support than any of the other options. Not all, but most hiking boots are going to be waterproof or water resistant, which depending on where you're hiking is going to be an important aspect of what you need. Are you going to hike in the winter in the snow? Are you going to have to go through creeks and puddles and things like that? So that can make a big factor into your decisions. You're also going to have some good grip on the bottom of your shoe with the tread because you want to make sure that if you're walking on rocks or different terrain, you have some grip on your shoes. Now, so those are the pros. The cons, of course, this is heavy, it's big, it's bulky, it's, you drop it and it just sits there and hits. So if you're doing a longer hike, a lot of people don't like the weight of a hiking boot because it's going to weigh you down, and your feet and legs are going to get tired a little bit quicker because of the weight there. The next thing on the list is a hiking shoe. So this is basically similar to a hiking boot in that a lot of them come in a waterproof boot or shoe there, and then you've got really great traction on the bottom for when you're walking, and it's a little bit cooler and a little bit lighter than a hiking boot because you don't have this collar going right here. So it's a low top, basically hiking shoe, basically a boot without the ankle support there and without the higher material. The problem you run into with that is that you are only waterproof up until that breach point, so you've got a little bit of an issue with that. And also, it's still heavy. So even though it's a lighter weight, it's a little bit lighter weight than the boot. It's still heavy. It's still a lot of bulk to it. You've got still a lot of weight on the bottom of your feet right there. So again, pros and cons. These are the heavier, kind of thicker, more traditional style of hikers that are out there. Now, going to the little bit lighter, and this is kind of like the new age style, is more on the shoe instead of the boot. So here we've got the Keen NXIS cross trainers. They're kind of an outdoor-minded cross trainer. You see they got really good grip on the bottom of them. Now, the pros are this is really lightweight. It's a lot lighter weight than either of those hiking boots that I just showed you, or the boot and the shoe that I just showed you. And it still has really good grip on the bottom of it. It's a really comfortable shoe, and it's got a lot of flexibility to it. And it's good for a lot of your hiking challenges that you're going to face out there. The other good thing about this is with a hiking boot and shoe, there's not a lot of flexibility on the bottom of that shoe. So if you're taking these shoes or boots like on a sidewalk downtown or something like that, it's not going to be as comfortable as a walk because there's no flexibility in that. On these cross trainers, you have a lot more flexibility where your foot can move a lot more freely. So on flatter surfaces, it makes for a little bit easier of a transition there. That's also a con. So when you're in the you're hiking out in the mountains and stuff like that, and you've got a lot of different terrain and different rocks that you're working on, you want a little bit of stiffness to that. You want a little bit more protection on the bottom of your foot so that your foot doesn't bend like this. If you're on, if you get onto a rock face, you want to have a little bit of grip and a little bit of hold. You don't want to necessarily have that full bend that you'll get with these shoes. So I guess it's a little bit of a pro and a con on the cross trainers. Again, not waterproof either. So, some brands are going to come in a little bit more of a water resistant. Check on which brand you're checking on, or check on the brand that you're interested in buying to see about that resistance there. But yeah, definitely not as waterproof, not as hard, and still good grip. And like I said, a little bit lighter weight. And then finally you come to the trail runners like this Saucony Xodus right here. Again, really good grip on the bottom of this. It's almost like a cleat, like from back in playing Little League sports. You almost have like a cleat feel to that, which gives you a really good grip. It's super lightweight. This is one of the lighter weight shoes that you're going to get, and there's different brands that have different weights to them and different thicknesses. The trail runners also have that stiff bottom, so that you're going to not be bending like crazy if you get onto some different terrain, some rocky terrain or anything like that. So there's your pros there. Cons, same type of thing, where it's not waterproof. A lot of the Xodus here has a little bit more bulk to it than in material than a lot of them. I've seen trail runners that are literally just a mesh top around the foot like that, so they're not waterproof at all. So you're going to get wet if you're going to go out on a trail and hit anything. The difference is that it's going to dry really quick, because especially some of those mesh versions, and even this version that has a little bit more material, they're kind of built so that they dry a little bit quicker. So you've got your pros and your cons there. Okay, so what you have is you've got your trail runners, which the pros, lightweight, good grip, good solid base to them on the sole. You got your trail runners, lightweight, versatile, can work on any surface really. The cons, you've got a little bit too much of a bend right there, so that you've got to protect yourself on the rocks. Hiking shoe, you've got really good sturdy base to it. You've got some good grip right there, and it's waterproof. Con is it's going to be a heavier boot. And then your hiking boot, you've got a higher collar, you've got more waterproof protection, good grip, solid base, but it's heavy, and about the heaviest that you're going to get. So those are your pros and cons of all of the different kind of options on hiking shoes that you get. When it comes to a conclusion, it's really hard to come up with a different for me, it's a little bit of a challenge to find out what a conclusion. I kind of look at it this way. Bears have paws and moose have hooves. They both walk in the same area, they both use the same terrain, but they use them for different things. So me, as a bigger guy, I'm more of a kind of power and plod guy, where I'm not going to be doing it at a fast pace. I'm going to be stepping on things. I'm going to be kind of just kind of bear in a china shop, just going through and stepping on rocks, stepping on different things. I prefer the boot. I prefer this bulk. I like the extra ankle support, especially hiking in the mountains with rocks and things like that. So this is kind of what I like. I have friends who are runners, and they're really athletic, and they love the trail runners, and that's all that they'll hike into. So I think it really depends on your personal preference on that. Do you enjoy are you kind of more of a quick twitch person? Are you more of a slow twitch person? Do you like to get done as fast as you can and want to be as light as weight as you can, like if you're doing through hiking? Or are you just looking for a day hike and want to kind of just enjoy your time out there? It really depends on what you're doing. Also the terrain, if you're hiking in on grass and easy trails, is something like the cross trainer going to do better? Or if you're hiking in the mountains with a lot of rocks and a lot of water, are you going to want to do something like a boot? So that's my conclusion, is kind of it's up to you. Nature has different feet, and we have different shoes, and I think if you test them out a little bit, you'll kind of get an idea of what you're looking for. And if you're comfortable right now, like if you run a lot and you're comfortable running, then a running shoe will probably be a little bit better. If you're more of a person who is gonna want a little bit more protection, then maybe go towards a boot, and anything in between. So that's my idea on the different brands and styles of hiking shoes. Again, hundreds of thousands of options out there, so find out what works best for you and make sure that you have good feet for a hike, because it'll make it a heck of a lot better of a hike.